Good afternoon, Packers fans. Aaron Nagler here with your Packers Daily Chat, coming to you live on the Cheesehead TV social channels. It is Thursday, though it is a bit of a Friday in the Green Bay Packers world because they play on Saturday. So the final practice of the week was held earlier this afternoon. Packers getting ready to take on the Chicago Bears for control of the NFC North. And needless to say, there is a very long injury list to deal with this week. Let's take a look, brought to you by our friends over there at Theta Care. 10 people are questionable for this game. Obviously, the good news is that both Josh Jacobs and Christian Watson, both listed here as questionable, spoke to reporters yesterday in the locker room and said some version of, I'm playing. So suspect that both of those guys will be up and in the lineup. Don't know if Jacobs continues to be on a pitch count. I suspect that's probably likely. But as you'll notice, Chris Brooks is also questionable. Not exactly what you want to see. The depth at running back starts to thin out pretty quickly with only 3 of them. Decent chance, I think you want to kind of pay attention tomorrow. There's a chance the Packers could sign Pierre Strong to the roster since he's out of elevations. Just something to look out for. Good to see Savion Williams without an injury designation and a full participant in practice today. Obviously, you see there, finally, Micah Parsons placed on injured reserve. Don't love to see that. Jaden Reed, a full participant after missing practice due to a personal reason. And then, a lot of questionable there, which I think is not surprising this late in the season, especially when you consider the damage done last week in Denver. And then, of course, the fact that the Packers are known to over-report on the injury report each and every week. A lot of names, a lot of stuff up in the air, but clearly the Packers are going to have to utilize whoever's on hand to try and take the second game from the Chicago Bears. I suspect this is a game where the Packers will try to do what a lot of other teams have tried to do to them as far as possessing the ball and keeping the ball out of the hands of the Chicago Bears offense. And that is even though I know 2 of their receivers will not play. They're going to undoubtedly lean on their running game in a way they probably didn't coming out of the gate up in Lambeau, but they certainly seem to get it going there in the second half. I think that will be the case right from the starting gun on Saturday night. And the Packers are going to have to try, I suspect, to control the football game on the offensive side of the ball, and not necessarily meaning that they're going to try and run the ball to take time off the clock and shorten the game. But I do think you'll see quite a bit of short game, Jordan Love in control at the line of scrimmage and trying to, limit the possibility of the Bears having multiple possessions in a quarter and taking, too many chances as far as allowing them to get after a defense that's going to have to find a new way of working without Micah Parsons and without Evan Williams, most likely, also listed as questionable. I do think this is a game where Jordan Love, as we talked about on Transplants yesterday, gets to remind everybody why he is the man in Green Bay, and he is still one of the best quarterbacks in the league, despite a rough outing there in the second half in Denver. I do think he's going to remind a lot of folks on Saturday night in front of a national audience. I, for one, am looking forward to it. Hold on, folks. All right. See everybody chiming in. Good to see everybody. Let's give a shout out to our friends over there at Theta Care. Football season is all about action, and sometimes injuries happen. Whether it's a sprain, strain, or something more serious, Theta Care Orthopedic Care is here to help you recover like a pro. Their team offers expert care for bones, joints, and muscles, so you can get back to doing what you love, on the field or in the stands. Don't let pain sideline you. Theta Care, proud sponsor of Cheesehead TV. Speaking of Cheesehead TV and sponsors and things that we like to talk about here on the channel, ladies and gentlemen, if you got it, crack it. Here we go. That's right. Get yourself a Carry the G beer, the official beer of Cheesehead TV.
Well, we carry the G wherever we may be, so creamy and cold, and from the land of the green and gold.
All right, let's get to your questions, comments, concerns, praise, complaints, whatever you got. Starting with the man, 5705. 5705, what a specific handle. Thanks for the super chat. What's the advantage of the team keeping Micah's injury details on the down low at this time? I don't get it. It's an interesting way to phrase it and ask it. And this is I don't mean to come after you here, but let me ask you this question. Why do you feel entitled to Micah Parsons' injury information? You know, he's been placed on injured reserve. What more do you need to know? I have zero doubt the information and details will come out at some point, most likely at a time of Micah's choosing, because it's his injury. The team is almost always going to acquiesce to the player. Oftentimes you'll hear Matt say, you can talk to so-and-so about that. But it's not so much of a advantage as it's his body and it's his injury. You know, he's probably down. I know he's down in Texas. He and his wife are about to have their next child. You know, last thing on his mind is probably talking to his agent about, telling certain reporters about whatever details for surgery, all that. That will come. We'll get that information and it'll be fine. And we'll go on with our lives just as we are now. You know, I just feel like because of, and again, this is not a shot at you, the man. I know this is a prevalent thing as people consume football information, but these are human beings and that it is his body and it is his injury to deal with. The information will undoubtedly come out at some point, just because the team is not trumpeting it and they're not talking about it at the podium doesn't mean they are trying to find some advantage in doing so. They're just respecting the player. And I have zero problem with that. E4, what's going on, man? Packers defeating a decent Bears team at Soldier Field is one of life's pleasures. Beat the freaking Bears. No doubt, man. No question about it. This is going to be a fun game. It's going to be a great football game, I think, especially because what's interesting is where, the Packers are beat up, especially along the offensive line with Zach Tom. And I don't know if you noticed, but Kennard is questionable in this game. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Bears approach the Packers offense, knowing that they're beat up front. And conversely, you look at the Packers on defense, knowing that the Bears are going to want to run the ball, and they do not have Micah Parsons. So does that mean they want to stack the box and dare Caleb Williams to beat them without two of his best receivers? There's going to be a lot of kind of back and forth chess matching, so to speak, there at the line of scrimmage and call by call, down by down. I'm so excited for this one. Neil Flynn, what's up, man? Random Packer, Max Zendejas. Wow, that's a blast from the past right there. Good call. Jesse, how are you? Thanks for the super chat. I saw a clip of Dan Orlovsky saying if Love has Watson on the field, Green Bay are still contenders in the NFC. He's such a good analyst. Need more like him. Yeah, Dan's been on point all year when it comes to the Packers. No question about it. And to his point, I mean, there's nothing we've, haven't discussed here at Cheesehead TV over the course of, the last few teams as far as whether it's been Christian Watson or even MVS back in the day. You take that element, that deep speed element out of this offense, somebody who can consistently be explosive at any moment that defenses have to worry about. It very much changes the nature of this offense. Look no further than, I saw people talking about, if they win, then this, then that, and then they could rest people that last week against the Vikings. And then everyone was like, I worry about momentum and all this. All I ever remember is MVS playing in a meaningless game in Detroit and then getting hurt and not being available the following game when they played the 49ers in the playoffs, and their offense was completely stuck in neutral. There is something about that element, whether it was MVS or now with Christian Watson, that completely changes LaFleur's offense. And it's not as easy as just put in Matthew Golden. Very different players, very different types of players, and he's going to be played very differently by the defensive coordinator. But man, yeah, the Christian Watson thing is so legit. He is such a dynamic player, and he has such a good rapport with Love, and clearly Love trusts him implicitly. That is something that doesn't just happen, right? So, yeah, Orlovsky, like I said, he's been on point with the Packers pretty much all year long. Tom Vito, what's up, man? According to Dr. Strange, there are 14,605 Packer playoff possibilities. How many involve us winning the Super Bowl? 1. Oh, I don't know. I think there's more than one. Come on. Out of the 14 million plus scenarios, there's a handful of Packer Super Bowl victories in there. Come on. Come on. You have little faith. Jerry, what's going on, man? Thanks for the super chat. Go Pack Go from Minneapolis. We are beat up but dangerous, like a cornered wild animal. We need to play pissed off like 2010 and punch Chicago in the mouth with both fists. Oh, my. It's interesting you say that. It was interesting to hear LaFleur being asked about the personal foul penalties from the last couple games, right? Because don't forget, obviously Nixon had the one against Chicago, and then you had a couple in Denver. And I thought he was spot on as far as, man, you've certainly got to play with emotion. It is a game of emotion, and certainly they need to go in there to take care of business. There's no doubt about that. But I would definitely probably frame, if I'm the coach, I frame this as a business trip. It's not a rock fight. It's not we're going to go down there and bloody their nose or anything like that. It's a business trip. We're going to go down there and take care of business. You know what I mean? It's their building and their crowd's going to be insane. And certainly that energy surge at the beginning of the game will be significant and no joke. But keep your cool, execute, just do your 111th all game long, and then get out of there with a victory and total control of the NFC North. After touchdowns, I want to see handshakes. It's a business trip, right? That's where I'm at. Neil, what's up, man? Are they now the Indiana Bears? Oh, baby. Oh, that news breaking last night was amazing. Although I will say, I was kind of jealous that Billy and Armin got to talk about it on the radio this morning without me. Can't believe we didn't get that for Carry the G radio. How hilarious is this? Oh, how about those stock certificates that, quote, don't mean anything, Bears fans? Huh? How you feeling today? Maybe your team moves to Muncie. Yeah, the Packers can't move. They're only going to be in Green Bay. You know why? Because of those, quote, worthless pieces of paper. How's it feel? Stadium sucks. Can't build a new one. Bears still suck. Man, it's got to blow. It's got to be the worst being a Bears fan. At the, mercy of your local politicians. Don't ask me, man. I don't know nothing about it. I'm a Packers fan. Jerry, thanks again, man. Dan picked the Bears. Worst choice since his safety. Well, they're playing at home. Look, the Bears are a good team. Let's not get it wrong. Let's not get it twisted, right? I understand people picking the Bears this weekend, especially given how banged up the Packers are coming out of that game last week. It's not crazy to say that the Bears might win this game. Hell, Vegas, the whole line switched today. It was Packers by 1.5. Now it's Bears by 1.5. So, I understand the prevailing tide changing, so to speak, but one of these teams has Jordan Love and one of them doesn't. The team with Jordan Love is going to win. Travis, what's going on, man? Okay, let's manifest this. Packers get 10-point lead going into the half, come out third quarter with a long, methodical 8-minute drive. The universe says so. Look, man, you are speaking my language. That's what I wanted in Denver. But I'm with you, brother. Let's manifest it. Can we not come out of halftime looking for a kill shot, please? Let's just matriculate the ball down the field and slowly twist that knife right in their heart. That's what I want to see. Adam Rice, what's going on, man? What's up, Nagman? Nagman. Late 2023 felt awesome because we could look forward to the future without feeling like we had to win that year, unlike 2020, 2021. Where do you think this team is on that scale? I've said pretty much since they made the Micah trade, it's a 3-year window. This is the first year of that window. It's certainly going to be weird this offseason watching what I suspect will be quite a bit of talent and names that we have come to grow to know and love walk out the door. I think Rasheed Walker's probably out the door. I think there's a decent chance Romeo Doubs walks. There's going to be some real kind of, main parts of this team that we're probably going to see hit the streets and get signed other places. But I do think this is a team that has been, building towards this moment and has lots of talent on the come up, lots of young guys that are going to fill those roles and fill those voids. So, yeah, man, this is year one, as far as I'm concerned, of their championship window once they went all in with Micah Parsons. Your mileage may vary. I know people who say because of the fact that they're going to lose all that talent, that this was the 1 year. I don't buy that for a second. I think the window is certainly open for the next 2 years. So, with that said, who knows what happens? I mean, the NFL stands for not for long. You know, who knows what happens down the stretch this season and or at the start of next season. Maybe the the roster development really kicks into gear and all these young players become monster studs and all of a sudden the Packers are some juggernaut team. Now, the flip is entirely possible. None of them reach their potential and they're a team just hanging on and trying to make, just trying to scrape into the playoffs. Entirely possible, right? But I suspect this is a team that will be competing for a championship over the course of the next 2 years after this season. Jeezy baby, what's going on, man? Our injury report is like a CVS report. It's Gary Bears week. Let's beat the damn Gary Bears. Random Packer, Barty Smith. Ooh, Barty Smith. That is certainly the first time we've gotten that one. Don Vito. No shit, right? So save us Aaron Rodgers? Weird timeline. What I love about the idea of the Steelers going into Detroit and the Packers needing the Steelers, or at least wanting the Steelers to win that game, don't ever forget, this is the regime in Detroit that took such umbrage at that quote from Rodgers when he said, can't lose to a team like that. And he was talking about the Lions. And man, not just the fans, though of course they did glom onto it, but the players did too. So there are some of those folks still around on the roster in Detroit who I know are licking their chops, getting another shot at Aaron Rodgers, probably the fan base as well. I'm so excited to see what he can do against that defense, which at home, they've got a puncher's chance of shutting down the Steelers, no question about it. But the Steelers do like to run the ball, and that can shut a crowd up real quick. And as much man coverage as the Lions like to play, I like to see DK Metcalf, hell, old friend MVS in the mix too. It's going to be fun, man. That's going to be a fun game. Jerry, thanks again, man. They should move the Bears to some windy, snowy shithole like Casper, Wyoming. Get you. The Casper Bears. That's so fun. I like it. Ooh, Andrew Ware, what's up, man? We beat the brakes off them. Market 8, dude. See, I try not to get too kind of carried away or excited by that prospect, but man, I would be lying if I didn't say, like, yeah, I've let my mind wander. Could you imagine if the Packers just go into Soldier Field and just pants the Bears? They just win by 3 scores. Oh, my God. All right. Like I said, try not to get too excited. Steve-O, what's going on, man? Cheers, Nags. Bears fans will be way more upset with an L than Packers fans. Let's give them that for Christmas. It's the season of giving. No, sorry. I don't give Bears fans nothing. They can rot. All the shit they talk each and every offseason, the amount of crap they've talked this season, in season, even after they lost in Lambeau, still talking mad shit. Nah, I don't give them nothing. Rob, what's up, man? I was watching highlights of the 96 championship game. Were you at all worried after that early Favre interception? Rob, can I be honest? Absolutely not. I was watching that game with Corey Banke down in North Carolina, and I remember just saying, okay, shake it off. Here we go. No. They were so good that year. I know you know this. They were the number one offense. Okay, he throws an interception. Never worried. It was weird that year, man. The confidence I had in the Packers that season has never been matched. There was zero doubt in my mind from week 3 on that they were going to win the Super Bowl. So, no, I remember being disappointed. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, man, never worried at all. David, the Bears move to Gary. They'll finally get a G on the side of their helmet. That would be hilarious. Rather than the sideways toilet bowl that they have now, right? Come on now. Maybe the Bears can move to Kenosha. Oh my gosh, can you imagine that? That would be hilarious. Wisconsin having 2 football teams? That would be absolutely hysterical. What else we got, folks? Steve, there you go. Give them that L for Christmas. Yes, correct. Now you're talking. Tulio, who's going to be the standout player this Saturday? Crystal ball time. Crystal ball says, wait, I'm going to tug a carry the G here. It's going to be Matthew Golden. There you go. How about that? How about that? Someone said Josh Jacobs. I love the idea of Josh Jacobs going ham on the Bears, but I do suspect that he'll be somewhat limited, much like he was against the Broncos. I do think he'll play, but you saw how he was in and out of the lineup in Denver. He has not practiced a single day this week, which I know he did say he'll play, but that would suggest that he'll be on some kind of a pitch count. Doesn't mean he can't be effective and still help, but got to think, yeah, the Josh Jacobs stuff will be intermittent throughout the evening. All right, buddy, I got to get going. Cannot thank you enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day, Monday through Friday, right here on the Cheesehead TV social channels. Please do me a monster favor. Hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then tell your friends and tell your family. Cheesehead TV, we are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night. Go Pack Go.